Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, what round are we up to? Round number 9 of Output Racing League action. How are you guys doing out there? I am Corey Steinhauser, your host for today at the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. I'm unsure about whether I'll be joined in the commentary booth later on, but for now it is just me. We are well underway here in practice for the Homestead race, round number 9. Looks like we've got plenty of people practicing pit road entrance. Jaron, wow, he crashed in the pits there. Alright guys, I'm going to take you on a quick little tour of the track in car so we can see how to drive this thing, although I'm not the best of drivers and everyone knows that. Oh, we've got Steve doing a burnout. We'll just watch Steve do his burnout first, and then we'll jump out and go do our thing. This could very well be Steve's way of having an early celebration. Although it was his birthday yesterday, so we're not going to blame him for doing a burnout. Alright guys, we're going to go jump in the car now, and let's see what we can do against these bunch of professionals. Go very long pit exit here, and also a very long pit entry on the other side. You don't want to drive too fast or you'll end up off into the grass and you'll get a penalty. On the first lap here, you can let out just a tiny little bit. You don't have to let out too much. You want to keep it high so you can get the run coming out of the corner. Cut down a little bit just for that little bit of momentum coming down the hill. There's two ways you can go here. You can either take the higher line like I'm doing now, or you can go for the lower line. I'll try my best to demonstrate both. Right here, the exit of turn 2 is one spot we're going to be keeping a very close eye on. It's a spot that sees a lot of drama, and if we remember back to the Homestead race from the truck season last season, there was quite a bit of drama in that particular corner. Now we're going to run the slightly lower line here. I'm just dragging the brake ever so slightly just to settle the car down low. You want to run run the white line, but don't go over it. As we see Robert dive down low to go and practice a pit stop. 3 and 4, you know, you've got to be off the gas for an eternity. As we cut back down low again, try and get that run going. Not a very good lap. Although I'm not doing too bad, apparently I'm 6th fastest overall out of the guys that are here at the moment. I expect to be dropped down the order, because I'm not fast around here. Alrighty guys, on the next lap around I am going to show you what it's like to try and get onto the pit road here. It is definitely a struggle, I'm not going to lie. And it looks like we are going to have our commentary partner in the booth tonight. As soon as we jump out of the car, if he's in the channel, we'll introduce him to all of you. So you want to get really slowed down for this corner. On old tyres, this will be difficult to negotiate. And then, as you can see there, I got it all wrong on the very entrance there. Sorry for the beeps.
Start looking for yourself.
Alright guys, that's our general little track guide here of Homestead, Miami. As I said, the exit of turn 2 is our big focal point of focus. doesn't look like he's in the voice channel just yet, so we'll just be waiting on him. As you can see at the moment, we're looking at the 41 of Brandon Bennett, as he has been overtaken on the inside by Jay Shallington. We will see multiple grooves of racing all day, the higher line being the preferred line on a longer run. But if we can go green most of the way, you'll see towards the very end of tyre life and fuel life that the cars might start trying to get back down lower again, as the momentum up high is just not enough to cover off the shortness of going down low. But this does look like a very intriguing little battle on the track. Not bad for a little practice session. Right now, these guys are sitting in 6th and 7th respectively. It looks like Brandon bailed out there, came into the wrong part of the pit entrance. So that's one thing that will catch people out, is exiting the track, entering the pit lane through the side there. Alright guys, we're going to just listen to the sights and the sounds of the practice for a little bit, and we'll be right back with some more expert commentary very shortly. Alrighty guys, I am back. As you can see at the moment, Dylan Alt is commanding the field with a 32.110. We've got Steve Turner just 0.05 of a second behind him with a 32.160. We've got Jaron Sanchez currently sitting in P3, Tommy Bordeaux in P4, Matt Burgess in 5, Jared Polshy in 6, Brandon Bennett in 7, Jay Shellington in 8, Robert Collins in 9, and Mark Pentecuff sitting in the 10th position at the moment. Alright, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. There was a quick little break in the transmission there. You can see Dylan Alt is still commandingly in the control of this practice session. I was about to say race, but we're not even racing yet. And there he is on track. Actually no, this is the 41 of Brandon Bennett, sorry. I clicked on the wrong person. There he is, just coming out of the pits. Oh, getting it sideways on the exit ramp there. But still being in complete control. As he waits for Brandon to go past so he can take his position at the top of the track to get that run going down the front straight. Oh, and he's crashed. I didn't even realize he was crashing until he's crashed. So we've got Brandon Bennett back on screen, and then back to Dylan. I've just got this set to most exciting, so it's just going to follow whoever iRacing deems fit to follow. And at the moment, it's Brandon Bennett. As he spins his way into the pit lane there. I think he might have come off the wall. Now we go back to Dylan Alt, currently our P1 man. As we see the 24 returning today. We haven't seen this man racing in a while. This is Jared Polshy. Or Poshley. We actually have not seen Jared racing in this league since he got the Hard Charger Award a few weeks ago. If you guys would excuse me for a quick second. Alrighty, we've got about 7 minutes left in this practice session. And still Dylan Alt on top. Right now, Brandon Bennett is actually the only car on track. So let's see what he can do. Well, someone's got to let him know that's not where you got to come into the pits. He's going to be wondering why is he still getting a penalty. As we see Jay Shallington make his way back out onto the track now. Jay is currently sitting in the 7th position with a 32.425. I see Brandon Bennett's back out on track, and so is Jared Polshy. And we've also got Mr. Thomas Harmon coming back out onto the, well, coming out onto the track for the first time this session. So let's go and follow him for a little bit. Let's see what he can do. Now, I'm not sure if he thinks this is one of his bogey tracks or not. We'll find out very shortly. Let's see what kind of a time he does. And he does a 32.608 there. That's only good enough for the 8th position. Alrighty guys, we're going to take this opportunity to introduce our broadcast partner. Please everybody say a big warm welcome to Brogan Pickett Norris.
Howdy fellas.
Brogan, how you doing, man? We noticed that you missed the broadcast last week. You were sorely missed. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. How's everyone out there?
Well, I know I'm doing pretty good. Are you excited for this big race tonight, man? Because Homestead's no mean feat of a track.
No, it's not at all, but yes, I am excited.
Well, it's good to hear that you're excited, mate. And I hear that you got some big things going on with your stream these days. You mounted one of them fancy dancy webcams.
Yes, that is only for my main stream. I'm not doing it for the broadcast, unfortunately.
Well, that's no worries at all. At least you're making those kinds of improvements. I will never have a cam on myself, but that's just me.
Everybody's different in this own age, unfortunately.
Exactly. As we go back to the action on track now, the Crashes camera has focused on the 24 of Jared Polshley. His current best is a 32.5. And we see Steve is now starting to return out of the pits. He's sitting in P2 with a 32.160. Now let's watch Steve for a little bit using the chopper cam. Let's see what he can do with this run. As we're in the last couple of minutes of this practice session, everyone is trying to get that that last ditch qualifying run in and see who can topple who in the overall scheme of things. And he's done a 32.161, which is just 1,000th of a second slower than his best, but is still an entire 10th slower than our first place driver of Dylan Alt at the moment. As Steve has decided to go and give the road course a bit of a try. Massively cutting the corners though. I don't think the Stewarts would like that if we were doing the road course configuration.
Saying hello to the caravan people.
Oh, looks like he just about ran into one of them. As he's now gone back to the pits. So we're going to go back to focusing to the cars on track now. I see Thomas Harmon is starting to come back out onto the track. Getting a little bit shaky on that pit access road there. as we trundle down into the final 30 seconds of this session. Looks like we've got the 42 here doing a pit practice. Oh, and Jared has just been shunted there. I'm not sure what happened to start that off. But Jared has turned it into a little bit of a burnout there. I can hear someone else doing a burnout in the background, but it's not going to matter now because the session has just rolled over. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick little break and we'll be right back when the cars start to hit the grid. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is time to race. The cars are starting to hit the grid right now as I'm getting the cameras still figured out. There we go. Alrighty, so off the front row we have Dylan Alt in the 42 on the pole and Steve Turner in P2 on his outside. The pole time was a 32.056 and Steve was just 0.004 of a second off him. Then back on the second row we have the 4 of Jaron Sanchez and on his outside the 12 of Matt Burgess. What a surprise that is. Just behind them we have the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux starting out of P5. And on his outside we have the 41 of Brandon Bennett. Off the fourth row there we are going to have the 24 of Jared Polshy. If we can get the right cameras figured out. On his outside is the 10 of Robert Collins. Starting out of P9 we're going to have the 2 of Mark Pentecuff. And on his outside will be the 3 of Jay Shallington. And right behind them in the very final row, not registering a lap at all, it looks like we're going to have the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Now we've got an 11 car field to take the green flag in this race, including myself and Brogan. The strength of field out of 13 cars is 2005. As we can see, the Output Racing League YouTube channel page is in the chat, getting ready to go. They're excited, we're excited. This should be one of the better races in the series. I'm hoping for good things. I'm hoping for a little bit of drama. And remember, we are so close to the end of the season that we can almost smell it. And we are underway for round number 9 of the Output Racing League. Dylan has gotten a great start. Steve looked like he bogged down a little bit and he's under pressure from Jaron. Jaron looks like he is absolutely determined to get this second position from Steve. Steve stays up high to get the momentum going off the corner. It looks like Steve has just got it. In fact, he does, and Steve is now looking at making a pass on the 40. He gives him a tap going into turn 3. I said I wanted drama, and drama is what we got. Dylan got tapped by Steve into turn 3. That's dropped him back to 3rd now. So we see the 57.
Sharon down to 4th.
Yes, indeed. And we see the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux is trying to make his way up into the 2nd position. And right next to Jaron, who has now just gotten in front of Jaron, is the 12 of Matt Burgess. So we got some absolutely tight racing here in the top 5. Steve is starting to pull away now. I don't think Dylan will be very happy with what transpired there into turn 3. As we take a little bit of a look back further, it looks like Jaron and Matt Burgess are still fighting away. And right behind them is Brandon Bennett and Thomas Harmon. Where did he come from? He's gone from 11th to 7th already. He wants to try and get that hard charger award.
And I think that's the only award he hasn't got this season just yet.
Well, that's because he's usually at the front of the pack.
But they still have one award to get by the end of the season, and that is the season championship.
And it looks like we've already got maybe possibly one card in the pits. That's the 24, Jared Polshy. It looks like he's just starting to come out of the pits now. Yeah, he is indeed. I'm not sure what's happened there. But he had to make an early stop. He might have gotten a bit of damage on the first lap there. as we go back and have a look at this battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Jaren has closed in on Tommy. He's trying to make an inside run go. Oh, Tommy got up into the wall there a little bit. He's going to lose not just the spot to Jaren, but also to Matt Burgess as well. And Matt is looking very threatening on the inside of Jaren. So Jaren scored as the 3rd place there. Matt in 4th. Tommy has slipped back to 5th, but Thomas is right there just waiting to pounce. And we see we've also got a battle for the lead going on. Dylan has caught back up to Steve, has got the inside run on him. Can he pull off the move?
And it looks like he has. But not just.
Oh, at the line scored the lead for Steve Turner. Dylan just missed out on leading that lap.
By over 3 tenths of a second.
Folks, if this doesn't turn you on, you haven't got a switch. This racing is absolutely electric. And to think, we're only on lap 7 out of the 80. As we're still going to focus on this battle for the lead, we're going to go have a look at the chopper cam here. As we see Dylan making a big dive on the inside of Steve. Does he have what it takes to get past him? No, not quite. Steve has the momentum coming off of turn 2 to keep going. It looks like Steve is starting to lose Dylan a little bit. Dylan's staying down on that low line though. Just seems it's a little bit better in 3 and 4 to run low. A little bit better in 1 and 2 to run high. But this begs the question, will we see some retribution for Dylan? Will he give Steve a tap and try and make the pass the dirty way? I'm not sure we will, because I don't think Dylan is that kind of driver, but you never know in this day and age. Looks like Steve is going to hold on to the lead for now, so we're going to go back and see what's going on a little bit behind these guys. And it looks like Jaren is starting to fall down from the rest of the guys a little bit here. He's just been dropped back into the 5th position. It looks like he's about to lose 6 to Brandon as well. I think Jaren might have gotten into the wall a little bit there. And this promotes Thomas Harmon up into P3. And in fact, he is jumping on the back of the leaders now.
Is there any track this guy isn't good at?
I don't think there is. Unless it's covered in dirt. And look at this, they're almost 3 wide going through 1 and 2 there. That will make an amazing screenshot. And you can see that Thomas is very much so faster than these guys in every part. And Dylan has taken the lead. I'm not sure what happened to Steve up high there. I think he might have gotten out of it a little bit too much, got a little bit nervous. But Dylan has taken the lead of this race. Chalk up the lead of that lap to Dylan. And Thomas is now trying to make his move on Steve. Steve very close to the wall there on the exit of turn 2. And Thomas just has his nose ahead. Can he get Steve cleared? Not quite. Steve starts to fight back on the outside. Let's see if Thomas can clear him now, coming through 1 and 2. Steve going up very high, getting those right wheels into the shadow of the wall. Thomas has him cleared. Steve looks like he's going to try a cutback. Can he get it done? Nope, not quite. Thomas is now up into P2.
Maybe Steve's tyres have let go this early.
Well, it's very possible. He was pushing very hard very early on. And I reckon Thomas might have been trying to save his tyres a little bit because the tyre wear here is pretty big. Seems like these first 6 cars now are starting to string out a little bit and get into a line. As we see Dylan's taking a very high line coming off of turn 4. It's very risky, but it can pay off a lot. Although in saying that, he has lost a 1/10 of a second to the hard charging Thomas right now. And Brandon Bennett was the fast time for that lap at a 33.485. Which is only 1.1 off of the race quick time at the moment, which was set by Steve Turner at a 32.363. So we can see that already. We've only done 17 laps, but the tyre wear is so much that we've lost a second off of the fast pace in the race. As we can see, Thomas is now making a move on Dylan, trying to take the lead away. Very close battle here for the lead. Thomas has his nose in front. Does he have enough? Oh, looks like they got very close to contact there. Dylan still just holds on to that lead. But Thomas is still right there on his inside. I think this is just a matter of time before Thomas gets him. He's actually clear right now. Dylan couldn't quite get his nose up there, but he does the switchback to go back to the low lane, see if he can make a move back onto Thomas. This is close, hard, fast racing for the lead of this motor race. As we now come across the line to get 18 laps complete, Thomas, chalk him up as the leader of this race right now. He just had his nose in front of Dylan. Dylan got a little bit tight going into turn 1 there. Might have gotten into the side of Thomas a little bit. He backed out of it and let Thomas go. As you see, Steve is still up in the 3rd position, but right on his tail is the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. But Dylan is not done with yet. He is still right there on the back of Thomas. He might be trying to conserve a little bit of fuel, staying right on Thomas's tailbone. Because tyres are important, but fuel saving is importanter. Just like education is important, but race cars are importanter.
Definitely race cars are more important.
There you go, you heard it from the man himself. Alright, we're going to go back and have a look from the nose of Jaron at the action going on in front of him right now. Because Steve is starting to close in on the 42 of Dylan. And Jaron is right on Steve's keister as well. As you can hear the camera being pelted by bits of rubber coming off of the car in front of him.
You can see those gorgeous, gorgeous backfire flames from the 2 cars in front.
And Steve got a horrible run out of turn 2 this time. Just Jaron have a run on him. Not quite. Jaron closed right up to the back of Steve. I think Steve got a little bit too high and had to back out of it to stop getting into the wall. There's only 1.1 seconds that separates these top 4 cars at the moment. But out of them, Thomas is the fastest. He just did the fastest time for that lap at a 33.851. Steve was the only one in the top 4 into the 34s. The other 3 were in 33 territory. And they were in fact the only 3 in the 33 territory. Looks like Jaron is trying to make a pass on the low side of Steve. Can he pull it off? Steve stayed up high to get the momentum. But Jaron is hungry. He's looking for good results. He had a really terrible start to the finish. Sacked his fuel man, got a new one. And things have been looking pretty good for him since then. Jaron actually made it onto the podium last week, Brogan. I'm not sure if you saw that.
No, I didn't, but congrats to Karen on there. I bet he was chuffed.
Oh, he was definitely chuffed, mate.
2 podiums in a row. I bet he was trying to look for that third.
Oh, I wouldn't put that past him. He's definitely a very determined man.
Definitely.
Just ask his partner whenever she pipes up in chat. She knows that he's very determined. If he wasn't, then they wouldn't have a kid. You can see Thomas is starting to pull away from the rest of these guys a little bit here. And it looks like we're starting to get some green flag pit stops as well. We've got Steve and Jaron heading into the pits. I saw a car dive off in front of them as well. I'm not sure who that was. I think that might have been Thomas. No, it wasn't. But we do have Jaron and Steve in the pits. We also have the 24 in the pits. And the 41 is in the pits as well. So this is going to start making things interesting. Will the undercut play a key part in this race? As we go back to focusing on Thomas in the lead, he is not pitting right now. He says, you guys can pit whenever you want. I'm playing the fuel game. And Dylan Alt has now just hit pit road as well. So has Matt Burgess, pitting from 2nd and 3rd respectively. We still got Tommy Bordeaux on track as Jay Shallington has just hit the pits as well. And Thomas is going into the pits now. Let's see what Tommy does. Will he hit the pits as well? No, not this time. So Tommy is going to go past everyone and lead this lap. And as things start cycling through, if Tommy pits this time and Mark Pentecoff doesn't, this will put Mark in the lead of this race. As you can see, the difference between new and old tyres. Tommy is just being monstered by everyone on the freshies. And Tommy is now heading into the pits. Mark is in the pits. Oh, and Tommy gets into the grass a little bit there on the pit entry. So let's keep an eye on Tommy. Let's see how his pit stop is. Let's watch it from the gyro cam in his car. I think he might be out of fuel. He is indeed. Tommy Bordeaux is in the pits, out of fuel. That's how far he was pushing it. He probably thought he could make it, but didn't quite get it pulled off. That's a shame. He's going to lose a lot of position for that, because that's going to cost him a lot of time. As we go back to focusing to the cars on track now. And it looks like Thomas had a horrible stop. He's come back out of the pits in 4th. We got Steve Turner in the lead of the race. Dylan Oltz in P2. Jaron Sanchez in 3. as Steve goes around the lap car of Jared Polsche to put him 2 laps down. Although Jared just got into the wall there on the outside of Steve, trying to give him room. That's unfortunate for Jared. He was looking for some good position this race, but it looks like he's just not going to get it. And on the back of Steve, we do have Dylan Alt in the 42 car. And close, hard, fast racing going on here. As we go through lap 32 of 80, 31 complete. Which means 49 to go. Oh, and it looks like Jaron just come off the wall a little bit there, coming out of turn 2. And Dylan is making the pass on Steve. Can he get there? He's got the run. Does he have the speed to make it work off the corner? No, not quite. Steve has the momentum up high. See, Dylan is working that low line really hard, and right behind them, closing in, is the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Jaron has slipped back to 4th. And we see Dylan now gets the move done on Steve, gets him cleared before corner exit and pulls up in front of him. Steve is right on his bumper, pushing him through the straightaway. Says, hey, I had the momentum. You should have given me that top lane. Steve now makes a pass down low. Can't quite get it done. He's trying to stay off Dylan, who pinched him down low. And now we got Thomas coming in on Steve's inside as well. There's so much going on in this battle pack. I'm not sure what to keep my eye on. Thomas didn't quite have the momentum there to get the pass done. Pulls back in behind Steve. Does he make a dive down low? Yes, he does. Side by side as they come out of the turn 2 exit. Looks like Thomas has the speed down low. Can he get the move made? And it looks like he has at the moment. Yes, he has. Thomas Harmon back into P2. Steve Turner back into P3. As it looks like Jaron is starting to drop off a bit. He might have a bit of damage to his car. It looked like a fairly solid whack on the wall he got on the turn 2 exit there. It does look like his right side is a little bit pancaked. That's not good at all. That will slow him down. As we go back and focus on our top 3 again. We're going to go and have a look from the Goodyear blimp. And it looks like our leading trio is starting to come up on the lap car of Mark Pentecuff, the 2 car there. But all hope is not lost for Jaron. As you can see, he's still in screenshot there. All he needs is for Mark to hold up the leaders a little bit and he can start gaining some time back on them. It looks like the 42 did get a little bit apprehensive on behind of the 2 car there, which is allowing Thomas to close in ever so slightly on him. And Jaron is in fact starting to close in on the 13 of Steve a little bit. And Dylan's gotten around the lap car of Mark, and now it's Thomas's turn. And they are both clear now. So we went from having a 4-car battle pack to just 2 cars fighting it out for the lead of this race. As we come up to complete lap 39, and start lap 40, which means that we've only got about 40 and a quarter laps left in this race to go now. We are halfway. Each car will probably have to make at least one more stop, possibly two. As we're watching the 38 of Thomas Harmon as he's closing in on Dylan. We're going to watch off of the tail of Dylan actually. So let's have a look. That looks like a very intimidating sight. Seeing Thomas Harmon so close like that. I know if that was me, I would be very worried. Oh, and Dylan's just gotten into the wall very slightly there. There's only very slight contact. Didn't look like he lost any time. But still very close, hard, fast racing going on here. Looks like Thomas is about to make his move now. He's pulled right in on the tail of Dylan. Is he going to wait for turn 1 and 2, or is he going to try and mount a move now? He had a better run through the middle of the corner there. Pulls his nose down low just to start the side draft a little bit. And he's making his move. Nope, not quite. He backed out of it into turn 1. Gets the better momentum in the middle of the corner and starts to pull even with Dylan. They're side by side coming off of turn 2. And Thomas has made the move stick going into turn 3. Dylan trying to do the cutback on him in the middle of the corner. That's not going to quite work this time. And Thomas Harmon has regained control of this race. And these guys have absolutely gapped the rest of the pack. The gap back to the third place car of Steve is sitting at about 2 3/4 seconds. In fact, it's gone out to 3 seconds now. So these guys are on an absolute mission right now. Let's go back and check in with Steve, see what he's up to. Looks like he's running there with just the lap car of Mark Pentecup behind him. But right behind the Mark there is the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, with Matt Burgess chasing him down. As we see the two get into the wall, came down a little bit. Oh, that was close. It looked like he was almost going to get loose and spin out into Jaron. Jaron has cleared the lap car of Mark. And now Matt was making his way around him as well. And Matt does it with ease. Going back to have a look at our leaders here, it looks like Thomas is starting to pull away ever so slightly from Dylan now. So let's go for a quick through the field so we can have a look at where the cars are and what they're up to. So we've got 38 of Thomas Harmon in the lead. The 42 Dylan Alt in P2. Got the 13 of Steve Turner in 3. The 4 of Jaron Sanchez running very high there in P4. The 12 of Matt Burgess in P5. The 41 in Brandon Bennett is P6. We have the 3 of Jay Shellington in P7. Tommy Bordeaux, who is in fact 4 laps down. So things have gotten a little bit strung out now. Sorry for that break in transmission, guys. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It seems that I'm having internet issues myself, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. Alright, we're coming up to finish lap 52 now, which means that there's going to be only 28 laps left in this race. That last lap for Thomas Harmon was a 33.934, which at the moment is the fastest time for that last lap. As you see some of the cars back in the pack a little bit, starting to make some more green flag stops, hoping that they can make it to the end. It looks like Dylan's starting to get a bit loose behind Thomas a little bit, starting to drop off from behind him. And Steve Turner has just rolled into pit road, which promotes Jaron up to P3 and Matt Burgess up to P4. And Thomas is just hitting pit road, and so is Dylan right behind him. Dylan says, if you're going to pit, I'm coming with you. Dylan doesn't want Thomas to get that undercut. See what Jaron and Matt do. Looks like they're staying out. Nope, Jaron's coming in this lap. And it looks like Matt has stayed out to get the lead lap award for this lap. I'll English one of these days, people, I swear. A nice pit stop there for Thomas. He didn't roll too far into his pit box. Let's see how things go when he comes out. Just enough wheel spin to get the car going. And it looks like he's been beaten off pit road by Dylan. As Matt Burgess has come into the pits now, Dylan Alt has overtaken Thomas on pit road. As we can see, Jay Shellington looked to the outside of Thomas there, but that's only because Thomas had just come out of the pits, so he didn't have the momentum that Jay had, but Jay's dropped back now. So Dylan Alt has now just rolled in through to take the lead of this race. Thomas Harmon's in P2. As we're waiting for some of these slower cars to come into the pits, like the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux. Oh, Jared, unfortunately we did a little bit, man. Hey man, if you're not racing at the moment, you feel free to come into the waiting area, man. We'll bring you into the booth and have a chat with you. As we can see it officially on the screen now, Dylan Alt has taken the lead of this race. Thomas Harmon's in P2, Steve Turner 3, Matt Burgess has made his way up into 4th, and Brandon Bennett is in 5th, and it looks like Jaron is well down the order. I'm not sure what's happened there to Jaron. I think he might have spun coming into or coming off of the pits. But he is back in the 6th position, behind Brandon Bennett in the 41. Alrighty guys, we're going to be joined in the booth now by Jared Polshy in the 24 car. Jared, man, it looks like it's been a rough race for you today.
That's to say the least, man.
What's going on, man? Is it just struggling with the track, or just tires falling off too quick? What's going on?
Man, it was a little bit of tires. Had a little bit to do with that green flag. I didn't realize second gear was as aggressive as it was, and tried to recover the tire spin, and ever since then, man, the whole thing's falling apart.
Oh, that is really unfortunate. As we can see, you've now dropped down to 11 laps down. I know you were hoping for some good results because you haven't been around too much lately, so, you know, is there anyone...
I haven't been in a car in like 2 months, man.
Oh man, is there anyone you'd like to thank while we got you up here in the booth?
I mean, I guess Jaron, since he's throwing this all, you know. We're sitting here on Homestead as I got like maybe 8 or 9 wall stripes at this point, but you know, next week we're gonna try and come back and be on our game, hopefully.
Well man, I'm hoping you can get back going again and at least, you know, finish the race with no more wall stripes.
Yeah, we'll try and make it happen.
Alright, thank you for your time, man. We'll catch you later.
Appreciate it, man.
Good luck.
Alrighty, that was the 24 of Jared Polshy there. Having some real hard luck today, which is unfortunate. As we go back to looking at our leaders, it looks like the 42 is starting to come into some more lap traffic now. He's right on the tail of the 10 of Robert Collins, who is already 1 lap down. He's going to be about to go 2 laps. And just like that, he is now 2 laps down. It's as easy as pie. And we have a safety car. Oh, I'm not sure what's happened there. We'll have to go and have a look, see if we can see what's happened. You see Jared's gone off into the wall. I'm not sure what's going on at all. We'll have to see if we can find that one post-race. I would say everyone should be taking the advantage and coming in for a pit stop here for the final 15 laps of the race, because we're at the end of lap 65 of 80. Now this benefits some people like Jaron Sanchez, who was at risk of going a lap down. And in fact, it looks like Jaron has stayed out. I think he wants to lead a lap in this race. Oh, and Dylan went too far in his pit stall there, had to back up. That's going to cost him some time. And let's see how it goes. It looks like Steve has come out of pit road first, followed by Thomas Harmon, and then the 42 of Dylan Alt. As Jaron starts making his way to the pit lane now. And yeah, we've got Steve Turner scored as first, Thomas Harmon scored in P2, Dylan Alton 3, and Matt Burgess in 4th. We've got Jaron Sanchez scored as 5th on pit road at the moment, and Jay Shallington in P6, who is also on pit road. I do believe Jay might have been the lucky dog there. So as I said, this is very beneficial for cars like Jaron and Jay. Jaron being at risk of being a lap down, and Jay, who was just recently put a lap down. And this brings them back up to the back of the field there. Looks like the pace car lights are out and we're getting formed up again as the wave around cars start to move their way back to the back of the pack. We're going to watch this restart from the nose of the 4 car. So he can see everything that's going on in front of him. If you ever wondered what was up Jaron's nose, it's not even boogers. It's just a big old V8 engine.
Oh, I thought it was ocean front property right there.
Well, there's that too, but that's right next to the engine. Alright, the pace car is in. And we are back underway in this race. An amazing start there by Steve on the inside. Terrible start for Jaron coming out of P5. Looks like Thomas has slotted himself into P2 with Dylan in P3 and Matt Burgess sitting back there in 4th. As we come across the line this time, we're going to have just 11 laps left in this motor race. Things look like they're definitely starting to heat up at the front of the pack there. We're going to go have a look from the blimp cam. at our top guys fighting it out. The top three are absolutely on it like a car bonnet. Oh, looks like Thomas has blinked out and he's back. He went to visit another realm in time and space, but he came back in time to continue on with the race. As you see Dylan giving Thomas a little bit of a shot there, giving him another one. And, oh, he's turned him.
But Thomas held it.
Thomas held on to it, but, oh, this has cost him so much. Dylan getting,
Darren's in 4th place.
Dylan getting very aggressive there. Thomas is not going to be happy about that at all. We're going to get to speak to Thomas, as he is so far still the hard charger of the race. And I think he's going to be absolutely spitting chips about that move. And this also promotes Matt Burgess up into P3. He is right on track to get his 2nd podium of the season. Ever since he got that first podium, he has been on the fast track to some good results. Though he didn't get a very good result last week, but he did qualify rather well. And this time he's qualified well and he's in P3. As we've got just 5 laps to go when they come across again at the line, so it's 5.5 to go as it stands right now. We've still got Steve in the lead, Dylan Alt in P2, but he might be looking at getting reprimanded for that move later on. We're not sure, we'll have to find out post-race. And Matt Burgess in P3. This has dropped Thomas all the way back to 5th behind Jaron, who's moved his way up into 4th. Let's see if we can have a little squiz at Jaron, see how far back he is. Jaron's just given up the spot to Thomas. So chalk Thomas back up into P4 as he makes his charge back towards the top 3. Jaron's back into P5. What can Thomas do with 4 laps left in this race? We go back to have a look at our leading pack again. Dylan is right there on the back of Steve.
Now Matt's getting up in there with the
Geez, these 3 are so close you could almost throw a tally-ho paper over them. Steve takes a slightly higher line to try and get the momentum going. The other 2 taking the lower line to try and cut down the corner a little bit, cut down the distance they got to travel. Dylan looked like he was trying to give a little bit of a shot to Steve there. I think he's trying to unnerve Steve a little bit. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Steve is a rock at the best of times, which is absolutely awesome. But Steve also has a very short temper. If Dylan tries to move him, Steve's not going to be very happy about it. See, Dylan is on the inside of Steve now. Can he keep his nose up there? No, he can't. And that's opened up the door for Matt Burgess now to make a move on Steve for the second position. On Dylan, sorry, for the second position. This is so exciting. I still can't even English. I think between this week and next week, I've got to take some English lessons. See if I can actually start speaking it again.
I don't even know. Ah. Now I need English lessons. I don't even think they will help you, buddy.
So it is confirmed,
here
commentators
we go.
need to English. As Dylan tries to make a pass on the inside. This is the last lap of the race. And Dylan's got the move done. Dived in really deep there. Steve's coming back to his bumper. Is Steve going to move him? Steve gives him a shot. And they're coming to the checkered flag. And it is Dylan Alt with the win of this race. And he gets spin. He got spun after the checkered flag.
And Thomas went straight into him.
Oh, I think there was a lot of very unhappy people there. Alrighty guys, we're going to take a quick break, and when we be back, we will have the driver interviews for the race. What an exciting finish that was. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And we are with our third place getter, the 12 car, for the second podium of the season for him. It is Matty Burgess. Matt, man, how are you doing first and foremost?
I'm actually pretty excited to see at the end there that I had the speed of the top two guys.
Now we've noticed ever since you had your first podium a couple of weeks ago, you have been on the up and up with momentum. You had a really good qualifying effort last week. Didn't have a good result, but this week you've just come back. You got 4th place in quali and 3rd place in the race. How excited are you at the moment for the end of the season?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited right now. Took a while, when you first get into a league and stuff, get used to how the other guys drive and stuff. But now I'm starting to get used to driving next to them, and helps with the speed too. That you can count on, where they're going to be at.
Alright, man, talk to us about that last 10 laps after the restart. Seeing Thomas getting spun off the way that he did, and just the close, hard battling between the top 3 there at the very end. How was that for you?
Yeah, I was doing everything I could. I did manage to get, I think, on second to last lap, get under Dylan, and just couldn't keep it in front of him long enough. We were really tight coming out of 3, and I stayed in the gas. I was like, well, if I bump him, I bump him. But on that last lap, I wanted to get up there. But it was a lot of fun being that close and racing hard.
Well, that's really good to hear, man. And we're glad that you've got yourself another podium. This is your second one for the season?
Yep. This would be the second, 3rd place. Hopefully here before the season's over, I'll get, work my way up to a 1st place.
Well, next week we are at Richmond, and that tends to throw a spanner into the works for a few people.
Yeah, I don't know how good I'm going to be at Richmond. I really like Auto Club in Chicagoland.
Alrighty, man. Well, is there anyone that you'd like to thank while we still got you here in the booth?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jaron for the league. I also want to give a shout out to all the drivers that I really enjoy racing with them. They do race clean. And, there's a little bit of bumping and stuff that can happen, but it's, I don't think it's intentional. But it's fun to race with these guys and race hard and close.
Alrighty, man. Well, thank you for your time. We'll see you next week at Richmond. That was the 12 car of Matt Burgess, everybody. And coming up next, a man that needs almost no introduction, who just had his birthday on Monday, the 13 car of Steve Turner.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, not much, man. So, let's talk about the very start of the race first. Alright, so you got turned a little bit by Dylan early on in the race. What was the mindset after that happened?
I mean, so I was going to his inside, and I thought I had the position, which, according to my chat, I did. So I kind of just wrote that off as he just didn't know I was there, or he was being way too aggressive and drove on. And then coming to that last corner, man, I was trying to do a crossover, and it just did not work. I tried moving him, it didn't work, and he got the win, unfortunately.
Well, it was definitely a very close race after that final, one and only caution for the race. Now we didn't capture what happened in the caution, but those last 11 laps or however long it was, that was absolutely incredible racing between you guys in the top 3.
Yeah, it really was. I had Thomas Harmon on my back bumper for 5 or 6 laps, and then he got dumped, moved out of the way, which is unfortunate. Looking forward to racing Thomas. I really wanted to beat him for a win, but just didn't happen today. Maybe we'll get it next week at Richmond.
Well, man, here's hoping that you do. While we got you here in the booth, man, is there anyone that you want to thank?
Yeah, thank you guys up in the broadcast booth, having a good broadcast. Thank Jaron for putting the league on, all the guys out in Twitch land right now. And have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Alrighty, no worries, man. Thank you very much. Alright, guys, that was the 13 of Steve Turner. Coming up next with a win in rather controversial form, but a win nonetheless, the 42 of Dylan Alt. Dylan, man, talk to us. Tell us about those last few laps.
Uh, I don't know what to say, but I just don't feel like I deserve that win because I I didn't mean to actually dump like Thomas. I meant to like for us to race side by side because I wanted to see like a battle between Thomas and Steve. So I tried to give him a bump to give him like a straightaway, like a to get him a run or something, but I hit him incorrectly and got him a little loose, and I didn't really. I just knew that I was gonna screw up. So it
Well,
was like a big mistake, and I kept making mistakes that whole race. It just sucks.
well, so you say that you kept making mistakes the whole race, man, but you were always right up at the front of the pack, so you always had a lot of pace this entire race.
Yeah, I was keeping it kind of consistent, but when I screwed up in pit road when that caution came out, I was a little like I don't know. I was first into pit road, but then I come out third, so I just get a little I don't know disappointed kind of.
Yeah,
But
we were looking at you when that caution came out and you guys hit pit road. It looked like you rolled through your pit box a little bit too far. Did you slide the tires a little bit?
yeah, I did slide the tires because I was trying to uh, break in just like the cup car, but then it just started sliding, and so it was like a lot different than the cup cars because I don't really race Xfinity, so they drive a lot different.
Yeah, indeed they do. All right, man. Let's cast our minds back to the start of the race. There, you and Steve were battling out pretty hard for. I think it was the lead, and he had the position on you down low, and it looked like either your spotter didn't call you that he was down there, or you were trying to just pinch him down a little bit. What happened there?
Um, on the start of the race, I did not start. I forgot about. It's another mistake again, but I forgot to put a spotter on, so that whole race I did not have a spotter. So I was trying to use my VR to look around and see how close I was.
Oh yeah, that would explain it then. I was wondering what happened because it just looked like you didn't even know that he was on your inside there. So yeah, that definitely explains a lot.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. I didn't know if he ran hard in the corner or not, but it just seemed like he kind of did. But I I'm really bad at restarts. Even on that start of the race, yeah, I started in first gear instead of second.
All right, man. Well, while we got you in the booth, is there anyone that you'd like to thank?
Um, Jaren for this league and Corey Hearts, but it's just I still don't think that I deserve this win because of Thomas. And I know next races are I'm probably gonna get wrecked by him or race hard.
Well, if I know Thomas, man, he's not going to intentionally wreck you, but he'll definitely race you hard.
Yeah, and I'm I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, man, just remember, racing hard is all a part of racing. And you were trying to give him a shot to go for the win, but just didn't quite pull it off properly. But you'll learn from your mistakes. You come back next week, better man and a better racer.
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn. Only I'm only 14, but yeah,
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week at Richmond.
thank you.
Alrighty, guys. Coming up next, we have the other party that was in that incident, but we got him here for a completely different reason. Please, everyone, welcome our hard charger for the race, the 38 of Thomas Harmon.
How
Thomas.
about that 3 minute, 10-second qualifying lap? Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty incredible. What happened in qualifying?
Oh, I think the brake got stuck or something. I don't know, and it just wouldn't let me cross the line. And then I finally got it going at about a 3 minute lap there, and then I just didn't have enough time to get the second lap.
That is absolutely crazy. Yeah, we were in complete shock when we seen you starting at the back because we were just coming back from our break, and it was like, oh, and on the back row by himself, we have Thomas Harmon. What?
I'm not going to argue with the hard charger award. It may have been planned. I don't know. I can't say one way or.
Well,
Those
we were
secret
discussing.
teams.
We, me and Brogan were discussing earlier that this is the only award that you hadn't won yet this season because you've got so many wins, and you know you're doing quite well for yourself, even though you did miss that first race of the season. So like the only thing left for you to win was the hard charger, and you finally got one.
Yeah, it's nice to have the full accolades. Would have had another win to add to the resume, but stuff happens, I guess. And I don't know, but it was a fun race overall. Unfortunately, it ended the way it did. But I guess if you race people clean, they do.
Yeah, well, when we were just having our little interview with him then, he said that he was trying to give you a little bit of a shot so you could have a run on the outside of Steve there for the checkered flag. What is your take on the incident?
He hit me and didn't lift, and just drove through me, and then tried to say it was a little nudge when it hit me when he hit me 3 or 4 times.
You know, looking for the from the broadcast position, it did look a little bit, you know, how's it going? But you know, we wanted to get both sides of the story before we completely speculated. But
Yeah, there's I think it's a whole lot of one side of the story, and then there's the what somebody wants it to be.
all right, man. Well, let's get away from that now because that's a sour
That's
note.
fine.
Uh,
It is. It is.
let's talk about your charge through the field. Now we saw you in starting off, and you were back row, all by yourself, and then not but one lap later, you'd already made your way up into sixth or seventh place.
A lot of that was actually due to the 24 car spinning the tires. Well, a lot of the cars spun the tires actually, but 24 had trouble gathering it up, and it kind of checked everybody up, and I got a good run on everybody right off the start there. And then, to be honest, I didn't think I had the speed that I was going to have tonight, and I was going to be happy with a top 5. And then I just started slowly picking people off, and ended up getting the lead. I'm like, well, okay, I'm not going to argue with that. And then that last caution come out, and that was a curse and a blessing all the same. I didn't know if I was going to catch Dylan or not, and but I expected I would have since I had the better long run speed. But the caution come out and kind of bunched everybody back up, made it real interesting. That's for sure.
Oh, it definitely did, and it was an amazing final 10 laps, even with what happened to you. It was a good close race right at the end there. Now talk to us about after the checkered flag. Did you aim for him when you seen him spun down on the inside?
No, I did not. I wasn't looking.
Were your eyes closed, just staring? I'm not going to hit you!
Something like that. Yeah, I was looking down at the relative to see who had actually won the race because I did see that it was close.
Oh yeah, it was definitely very close. Coming out of turn 4, they were just about side by side, and it was an amazing run to the line. It was one of the closest finishes we've had this season.
Yeah, it looked like it was close, and I thought Matt might have been able to get up there and make it 3 wide if he was close enough, but it looks like he wasn't quite close.
Well, I think Matt was just happy with consolidating the third place. Alright, now give us the inside scoop on it. Are you going to race him hard, or are you going to race him quote unquote hard at Richmond?
He's going to get the Hunter Johnson treatment.
Alrighty, that's all we need to know. Who have you got to thank, man? We know that you got a long list of people to thank. Who do you have to thank for helping you out today?
Uh, First off, Jaron for putting on the league. Hats off to the competitors as well. For the most part, they pretty great and pretty supportive, and um, definitely make the league fun. That's for sure. And got some good competition out there to draw in the crowd if they would ever show up. But also like to thank you guys, you and Brogan up in the booth for showing it, broadcasting it, allowing our fans to watch, and for S2R for allowing me to be on their team and run their scheme.
Alright, well, thank you very much, Thomas. Congratulations on winning the Hard Charger Award, and we'll see you next week at Richmond.
Yep, I'll be there.
Alrighty, guys, we got another little special treat here. Instead of just ending the broadcast, we are going to bring league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez into the booth. Jaron, man, what a race that was. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. A lot of things went down in there, and I didn't run out of fuel today, so that's always good. But I made a couple mistakes on my line. I never really felt too confident in this race. This track is just tough for me, but it is what it is. But it was a good race.
Yeah, and it was definitely a very close finish. Like, regardless of what happened on track, that finish was probably one of the closest ones we've had all season.
Oh yeah, that was actually a pretty nice. What happened before that slide job crossover was no good, but that was a pretty good move on that final corner by Dylan. But and then just so close. And then Matt had such a good run. That's really good. He's starting to definitely find his stride here. And man, poor Steve-O, he's been trying to get that win for a while, and he's almost had it a few times, including this time. And he's going to get one. He's going to get many. It's just got to break through.
Well, I think the important thing for Steve-O today is that he's had another really good consistent result, and especially when his competitors like Thomas and Tommy have had such bad races today. Tommy down in 7th.
Yeah, that's insane to me because Tommy is such a good consistent racer. Even if he's not too fast in practice, he figures the track out and he usually finishes in the top 5. I mean, how weird is it that he didn't do an interview tonight? That's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we've been so used to talking to, the same group of people every week, and then, it's like all of a sudden Tommy isn't in the running this week. It's crazy.
Yeah, that'll help Steve-O out a little bit in the points. But yeah, it was a good race. It's definitely surprising Tommy couldn't finish in the top 5, but or top 3. I don't know, where did Tommy finish?
He finished in 7th.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely out of his character there.
And then, we've also got Thomas with the fact that he had such a horrible qualifying run with a 3-minute 10-second lap.
Yeah, he was in he was in the lead before the half of the race. It was pretty insane.
Alright, Jaron, well, thank you very much for your time, man. Who do you got to thank while we got you in here?
Oh, thank you guys as always, man. Putting on this broadcast makes it a whole lot more fun for everybody. Thanks to the drivers for showing up and putting on a good show, and of course my wife and my daughter.
Alright, no worries. Thank you very much, guys. And this will actually end our broadcast for today. I'd like to thank everyone who's come out and watched and commented. You guys are all absolutely awesome. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Put the bell on so you know when we are broadcasting next. And also, if you don't mind, share the video around. See if we can get some more interest gathered in the racing. Because the more people watch, the more people would want to join the league itself. And that's what we want at the moment. We want some more growth, try and get some more cars on the track. But for myself and for Brogan, we'd like to thank you all for coming out. And we hope you have a good week. And we will see you next time at Richmond.